In the early hours of January 21st, 2025, Nairobi woke up to a horrifying story that no one could have imagined. Around 5 a.m., police officers were finishing their night patrol near Kelly Towers when they noticed a young man walking alone. He looked like just another worker starting his day early carrying a school bag. But something about him didn't feel right. The man was 29-year-old John Keyama, and when the police approached him, he clutched his bag tightly as though it held something precious or something he didn't want anyone to see. The officers, trusting their instincts, stopped him and decided to check his bag. At first, they thought they might find illegal drugs. What they found instead made their stomachs turn. Inside the bag were dismembered human body parts. The officers were stunned, frozen for a moment, unable to believe what they were looking at. The body parts appeared to belong to a young woman, and John, surprisingly calm, offered no resistance. He didn't run or even deny it. Instead, he simply admitted to what he had done and led the police to his apartment. When they entered his small, dimly lit room, the horror deepened. There, under his bed, they found a bucket containing more of the victim's remains, including her severed head. Her eyes had been removed and some of her organs were missing. It was clear this wasn't just a random act of violence. Something darker was at play. The victim was identified as 19-year-old Joy Feda Manani. Some reports called her John's wife, while others said they were just living together. What was clear though was that they had known each other for years, even since childhood. They had seemed like a normal couple to those who knew them. Neighbors later said they had had arguments coming from the apartments that night, but no one could have imagined it would end like this.
Still nothing. Other body parts which are yet to be recovered. We don't know. They are yet to conduct a mental assessment in the response.
Joy's family is devastated. How could someone they trusted, someone who had been part of their lives for so long, do something so terrible? What makes this story even more chilling is John's behavior. He wasn't panicked or defensive. He didn't cry or try to explain himself. He was calm, eerily calm, as though none of it mattered. Police believe he might be mentally unstable or involved in something sinister, like organ trafficking. The fact that some of Joy's organs were missing has raised even more disturbing questions. This case, now called the Bag of Horror, has left the entire community in shock. People are struggling to understand how someone so quiet, so seemingly normal, could commit such a horrifying act. But it also raises another unsettling thought. What if the police hadn't stopped him? He was walking down the street like nothing had happened. He could have disappeared into the city, carrying his terrible secret with him. For now, John has been arrested and is awaiting trial. He hasn't said much about why he did, leaving everyone to wonder what could have driven him to commit such a terrible crime. As investigators piece together the story, Joy's family and friends are left grieving, searching for answers that may never come. This tragedy is a stark reminder of how fragile life is and how sometimes the people we think we know the best can hide the darkest secret. Nairobi may move on from this, but the scars of this case will linger for a long time.
Ruth Wamboi, Darubini kutoka mahakama ya Milimani.